When Sarah Chen opened her mother's bedroom door for the first time after the funeral, she wasn't looking for anything. She was just trying to get through the day. Her mother had lived alone for the last 11 years. Small house, quiet street, same town she'd lived in her whole life. Margaret Chen didn't need much. She'd been a librarian for 40 years, drove the same Honda Civic from 1987 until she couldn't drive anymore. Packed her own lunch every single day, rarely ate out. People in town just thought she was careful with money. She was careful, but not the way anyone suspected. Because under her bed, in a plain old shoebox, she had been keeping a secret for 30 years. A secret that would leave an entire town completely speechless. Stay with me, because this one is going to stay with you. Margaret Chen started working at Brookfield Elementary School's small reading room in 1974. She was 34 years old. The school library, if you could even call it that, was basically a converted storage closet with 4 bookshelves and a hand-me-down card catalog. But Margaret, she loved it. She watched kids come in who had never held a book before. Kids whose families couldn't afford much. Kids who lit up the first time a story made them forget where they were. And she thought about that a lot. The books were old. The budget was almost nothing. Every year, she'd put in a request to the school board for more books. And every year, they'd tell her there wasn't enough money. So in 1985, Margaret did something that nobody knew about. She wrote a personal check, $200, made it out anonymously to the school, bought 14 new children's books, and then she put the receipt in a shoebox and slid it under her bed. When those books appeared on the shelves Monday morning, no one knew where they came from. The principal sent a note home to parents asking if anyone knew who the donor was. Nobody claimed it. Margaret stood at her desk and watched the kids discover the new books. And she didn't say a word. That was the first one. Just the first one. Over the next 30 years, Margaret Chen quietly donated her entire life savings. Books, supplies, a proper reading corner with soft carpet and beanbag chairs, new shelving, better lighting, and eventually, a complete library renovation. Every single donation, anonymous. The school never questioned it. Every year, new things would appear. The principal at the time, a man named Harold Briggs, he started writing letters to their anonymous donor every single year. Letters that said things like, "Because of you, 47 more children learned to love reading this year." But there was no address, no name. So Harold kept the letters in his own desk drawer, hoping someday, somehow, they'd find their way. Now here's the thing that gets me every time I think about this. Margaret worked in that school. She sat at her desk and watched Harold write those letters. And she never once said, "That's me." Not once. For 30 years, nobody knew. Not her colleagues, not the principal, not even her own daughter. Nobody. Until Sarah opened that shoebox. 3 weeks after the funeral, Sarah was clearing out her mother's bedroom. She'd done the closet, the dresser, the bedside table, and then she moved the bed to sweep underneath. And she saw it. A plain old shoebox pushed all the way to the back. She almost didn't open it. Almost. Inside the box were papers, receipts, hundreds of them. Each one dated, each one from a different year. She picked up the first one. 1985, Brookfield Elementary School, anonymous gift, $200. Sarah sat down on the floor. She picked up another one. 1989, $450. She picked up another. 1994, $800. She couldn't stop. She sat there for 3 hours, going through every single receipt. Every single one. And when she finally looked up, her hands were shaking. Because the total she had written on the back of an envelope was just over $400,000. $412,847. A librarian's salary, packed lunches, a 22-year-old car, and a shoebox under her bed. That was her secret. But at the bottom of the box, beneath all the receipts, was something else entirely. A bundle of envelopes, tied with a ribbon, 25 of them, all addressed to Anonymous Friend. Sarah recognized the handwriting on one envelope immediately. It was from Brookfield Elementary. The principal had been writing thank you letters every single year, and somehow they had all ended up here. The first letter she opened was from 1987. Dear Anonymous Friend, because of your gift, every child in 2nd grade has their own reading log this year. Many of them have never had a book of their own before. We don't know who you are, but we want you to know you are changing lives every single day. With deep gratitude, Harold Briggs, Principal. Sarah sat in that circle of letters for a long time, reading every single one. 25 years of gratitude, finally reaching the person they were always meant for. Just 30 years too late. Real quick, if this story is already hitting you, you'll want to stay for what comes next. Because the way this town responded, I wasn't ready for it. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button right now. Not for me, for Margaret. She never wanted credit for anything. Let's give her some. The next morning, Sarah called the school. She asked to speak with the principal. She wasn't sure how to start, so she just said, I think my mother was your anonymous friend. There was silence on the line for a moment, and then the principal, a woman named Carol Davis, who had taken over just 8 years before, started to cry. Because Carol had been writing those letters too, every year, to Anonymous Friend. She had 3 unsent letters sitting in her own desk drawer. 3 more letters, still waiting for an address. Carol drove to Sarah's house that afternoon. She brought all 3 letters with her. She handed them to Sarah and she said, Your mother had an address all along. She just didn't know it was her own heart. They sat at the kitchen table for 2 hours, reading every letter together. 28 letters total, 25 from Harold, 3 from Carol. 28 years of gratitude that Margaret had quietly collected, never claimed, never shown anyone, just folded back into the box with the receipts. Word travels fast in a small town. Within 2 weeks, everyone in Millfield knew. The woman who drove the old car, the woman who packed her own lunch, the woman who had quietly, invisibly, built the thing that half the town had grown up with. The school called a community gathering. 63 people showed up, including 11 adults who had been students at Brookfield Elementary during Margaret's first years as librarian. People who had learned to read in that building, in that reading corner, with those books. A man named Danny Kowalski stood up. He was 48 years old. He said he'd been one of the first kids to use the reading corner. He said he'd grown up poor, that books at home weren't really a thing. But that reading corner, with the beanbag chairs and the carpet and the shelf full of new books, he said that was the place where he figured out he wasn't stupid. that he could learn, that words were for him too. He paused. Then he said, "I became a teacher because of that room." The school board voted unanimously that same week. They renamed the reading room Margaret's Corner. Every day now, kids walk into that room, sit in those beanbag chairs, pull a book off a shelf that wouldn't exist without Margaret. And most of them don't even know her name yet, but they will. When Sarah was asked what she wanted people to know about her mother, she thought about it for a moment, and then she said, she never wanted to be seen. She just wanted the kids to have books. Some people spend their whole lives trying to be remembered. Margaret spent hers making sure other people had a reason to remember themselves. I want you to think about one thing before you go. Margaret Chen never got a standing ovation, never saw her name on that wall while she was alive, never read those letters, and she was completely at peace with that. The giving was enough. The kids having books, that was enough. So here's my question for you today, and I really want to hear your answer in the comments. Has someone ever done something quietly kind for you? Something you didn't find out about until later? Tell me about them. Let's give them a moment. And if Margaret's story moved you, if you believe the world needs more people like her, hit the like button. Not for the algorithm, because when you share something this good, it finds the person who needs it most. Next Tuesday, I'm going to tell you about a man who worked a second job for years, in secret, so his students could keep the lights on at home. You may have heard his name. You have not heard about the shirt. If you're new here, subscribe. We tell true stories about real people doing extraordinary things quietly, every Tuesday. I'll see you then. And while you're here, watch this one next.